Hi everybody, it's Alexis and today I'm gonna review one of the most hyped racket of 2025 in the Technifibre TFight 305S. Let's go. So today I took out this Technifibre 305S because I feel like this racket is kind of unique in terms of specs and in terms of what Technifibre is bringing to the market with this racket. And so today we're gonna try to find out if this racket is made for you or not. So first I'm gonna start with the specs and then we're gonna go on the court, and finally I'm gonna give my rating. Just before going with the specs, I have to point out those things that Technifibre does that no other brand are doing, and it's just the quality that they're putting in their racket. I just feel like it's to another level. First, you have the classic easy lock over there. So for all the stringer, you know, those are perfect. It's supposed to help you to tie the knots, so that's really good. You also have a great system over here to put the strings. You have a lot of things, but basically Technifibre doesn't really claim any new technology in this racket. What they've done is basically just change the swing weight from 336 to 321. They've changed also the way that the beam is shaped to make it 4% bigger. The balance point is now lower here in the racket, and so all of that is supposed to be done for a purpose, and this purpose is that Technifibre claim that, you know, the game is getting faster and faster, so the racket needs to be more maneuverable, and a lot of players are now able to use a racket with a lower swing weight. So they really wanted to keep the stability while keeping a really maneuverable racket. So let's see how it goes. So this is a 305-gram racket. The S stands as small and not spin for other brands. So small means 98 square inch head size. You have a 18 by 19 strict pattern, which is quite interesting. So yeah, now let's go on the court. This racket was thrown with Wilson Revolve at 52 pounds. If you're looking to buy some tennis products online, then I have a great news for you. You can use the code ALEXTENNIS to have 10% off your next purchase on Tennis Zone. Thanks to them for making this video possible, and let's go back. On the court with the Technifibre TFight 305S, the first thing that I felt, and I was actually kind of surprised to feel that, was the amount of power that I was getting just from the plow through. Even though the swing weight is not as high as the other version, I just felt like it was easy to generate some power. So I had to be I had to adapt to this one first, and I have to say that first this racket felt really comfortable, even though the RA is a bit higher compared to the other version. I just felt like it was really stable, but also really maneuverable, which is definitely a stands out. And all the thing that I've been saying since the beginning applies to the serve too, and that's a great thing. I feel like this racket is definitely made for modern players that are searching for control, but also searching to create some pace. So if you're attacking with that racket, I'm pretty sure that the ball won't be returned, or if it's returned, then it's going to be an easy volley or an easy put away shot. Definitely made for a player that want to attack, but it's not really that bad in terms of defense because you have a lot of stability, and like I said, you know, the easiness, you know, I would say is definitely great, you know. So even though you're not well set up, then the ball is going to go in. Obviously the qualities won't be there because you weren't really using your legs, but if you're using your leg, then the shot will go really quick, and once you're adapted to this racket, then it's a lot easier. But like I said, you need first an adaptation and then you can perform. I have to say that I'm really happy that I reviewed this racket because this racket is unique in terms of specs, but it actually plays a bit like, let's say, the Head Gravity Tour 98. And the reason why I'm saying that is that when you're looking at the specs, you might be like, okay, this racket is going to be control oriented, you know, it's the TFight line, but actually I felt like it was quite powerful and I really enjoyed the feel. So now let's go with the rating. In terms of control, I just felt like this racket was good, but not really a stands out, and we're going to talk about it in the power section. connection, but basically I just felt like yes, the control was there, but it's not really a stands out for a control oriented racket. So I'll have to go with 7.5 out of 10 because I feel like you can definitely have more control with other rackets, let's say like the TF40 or even the 350 gram version of this racket. In terms of power, I was really surprised. Just like the Gravity Tour 98, you feel like this racket is so stable and so maneuverable that when you're hitting the ball, the pace comes out immediately, so you don't have a lot of trouble putting pace if you're using your leg. So that's the only point that I would say that is important to take into consideration. You got to be physically fit to play with that type of racket, but if you can use your leg to drive the racket through the ball, then it's gonna be easy to create some power. So I'll have to go with 8 out of 10. In terms of feel, I just like the feeling of this racket. Like I said, I feel like it's the only racket that combines maneuverability with stability at the same time, and even sometimes I felt like it was a bit too much, but just overall, just like the feel. For me, the glossy finish just improved the feel. I don't know if it's visually, but just in general, I just liked it a bit more. I felt like at the serve, it was easy to hit some big bombs, but you were still able to hit some really good slice and kick. It was not an issue like the Gravity 98 tends to be. Like, you know, sometimes you have some trouble just generating the lift on your kick serve, but with this one, it was actually kind of easy to move this racket around. So yeah, definitely great. I felt like at the volley it was also good due to the stability. So yeah, I'll have to go with 8.5 out of 10. In terms of spin, definitely not a stands out, but it's okay, you know, so I'll have to go with 7.5. This racket is definitely not made to put some spin, but it's okay. But definitely not a spin monster. Is the 18 by 19 making a difference? I would say no. The 18 by 19 just improve in general the feel, but doesn't really make a big difference in terms of spin. I would say that, you know, the space between the string is not big, but it's not a tiny space between the strings, so still relatively okay. But don't take this racket thinking that you're gonna be able to put a lot of spin, that's for sure. So there you have the overall rating. Finally, I would say that I would recommend this racket to all competitive players that are looking to have a really stable and responsive racket that is able to generate a lot of pace from the baseline, but that also can be great at the net. You want to be with a big serve, you want to hit some incredible shot with your forehand, that has to be your racket, but you've got to be physically fit to play an entire game with this racket. Again, thanks to Technifibre for letting me borrow this racket. Without them, it would not have been possible. Don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.